Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Becoming Awesome, AWS's live stream podcast where Amazon insiders introduce you to the humans of AWS. I'm your host, Ray Thomas, senior recruiter from AWS's infrastructure organization, along with my lovely co-host, Jenna Last, principal recruiter, luckily who's safe in Florida right now. But to everyone streaming live globally, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're happy to have you here, and we look forward to engaging with you with us in the chat. Do not be shy. It's actually one of our favorite things to do. So we'll field any questions that you have for our guests or for ourselves. And to those watching on demand later on, we hope to see you live in chat one day. Today we have Ming Zhu, who's the AWS Marketplace Specialist Solutions Architect. I met Ming through our Women at Amazon Affinity group. And with that said, before I bring her on, just want to check in again. Jenna, first off, how are you doing? And again, to anyone, anyone that knows people in Florida, our heart's with you. I hope everyone is safe. I know how tough it is right now. I have friends down there, so we're definitely thinking of all of you as well.
I echo that, Ray. I'm broadcasting here today from Miami Beach, so I am safe and sound, and I just hope and encourage anybody who is north of northern Florida, Tampa, and the surrounding area to not watch this show and just pack up your bags and evacuate. Stay safe, people.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Please listen to the announcements. Do what you need to do to stay safe first and foremost. So, and I'm sure, I know like Amazon normally does this. I'm not saying they're officially right now, but anytime something like this happens, they try to put out any resources. I know they try to help out as much as we can. And after the aftermath, if Amazon does, I'll definitely share any link that we can where you can support it and how we're supporting as well. So with that, let's bring on our guest. Ming, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Ray and Jenna, to have me. It's my honor to be with you all here.
And where are you today?
Actually, I'm here in Tucson, Arizona desert. But, my heart goes with people on the East Coast because I live in East Coast for 20 years. And I know how it feels to be in the storm and to be scared. So we'll pray for you and let's just stay safe.
Thank you. What a nice opening remark.
Do you know Ken Walsh? It sounds like Woot Ming. Yeah. Do you know a gentleman named Ken?
Yes, he's my wonderful teammate.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining, Ken. Welcome.
Well, with that, tell us about your team and yourself.
It's interesting that I am such a new solutions architect. I joined the team this February 19th, the week of February 19th. It's actually interesting. February 19th is my youngest son, my baby boy's birthday. So when he turned 19, I joined the team. So I will never forget this date. And I think maybe that's just a sign of blessing. I joined the team and I was just sharing with my team this morning during team meeting. I'm not exaggerating. And everyone just to welcome me as a family member because I have been a SDE software developer for the past more than 20 years. I have never done anything regarding solution architect, but they welcomed me. They taught me everything I need to know, and then they never looked down on me. So whenever I need help, how busy we're actually a small group for such a big marketplace, and everyone is super busy. But whenever I have questions, even the most senior solution architect, they just stop their work and help me. So that make me feel like Amazon, we promote inclusive, right? That is inclusive in action.
Yeah.
I'm not like super senior, knowledgeable. I don't even know how much I can bring to the team, but they welcome me. And you probably can imagine how much I have learned in the past, February until October, in 8 months. I learned tremendous. I couldn't even believe how much I have learned. I passed Awesome Builder 1, Awesome Builder 2, Awesome Builder 3. The Builder 3 is I have to make a POC.
Right.
Proof of concept is that conflict architecture, right? And I passed my speaker certificate and senior speaker certificate and associate solution architect certificate.
Wow. What was well, congratulations,
Thank
first
you.
of all. That was, as you recognize, I believe, that this was quite an ambitious transition for you. What was the draw? Why did you do it?
Um, the thing is, because the project it's like very it's interesting transition. The project I've been working on since I came on board 2 years ago. Actually, speaking of that, Jenna, in 10 days it will be my 2 years anniversary in AWS. Okay,
Nice.
Congrats.
so I came on board as a system engineer actually. So I was a SysDE. So I was working on the API. In case some people don't know, maybe it's application programming interface. I'm a API expert, so I've been working on the APIs with the marketplace for catalog API, grooming API for the sellers. So, but the project was transitioned to this group. So I was moved to this group as well. So basically, I was an engineer, but the project I was working on is also seller facing. So I was moved to this group, but it's a solution architect group. So everyone needs to have a solution architect certificate. At least I need to work with all my teammates to support all the sellers to make their journey to sell or buy in the marketplace as easy as possible. So I made the transition. And guess what? Since then, I love every moment of being a solution architect. It opens my eyes of the world. When I was an SDE, what did you write? You write programs, yeah. You develop, right? You write code, you debug, right? And you deploy and you release. That's all I do for the past 20 years. And then when I started become a solution architect, I said, oh my, these AWS services are just wonderful. We can provide so many wonderful services to the whole world and make people's lives so much easier. That is my goal as an SDE, actually. I want to make people's life easier because I can write code. And as a solution architect, I think that's my dream. Love it.
It's fantastic. That's fantastic. And actually, I'm going to put in chat. For those of you that may not be familiar with AWS Marketplace, I'm going to put in the landing page right now, and I'll actually highlight it here also. So it's aws.amazon.com/marketplace. So discover, deploy, and manage software that runs on AWS. So talk to us about what a solutions architect does within Marketplace, because I know what solutions architects do for all the different other teams that I've supported, but Marketplace is something that I'm actually not that familiar with.
And I think, though, just to jump in there, I think the difference is because the solution architects that we've had on the show are customer facing solution architects, where my assumption is that you, as a solutions architect, are for our internal architecture for Marketplace. Am I wrong about that?
Actually, I'm more for external customers.
You are external customers. Okay, then really intrigued to understand how this all comes together.
Yes, actually, you know what, Ray? I appreciate your question because that is actually when I try to explain to my kids. By the way, I'm a mom of 4 children. What is Marketplace? AWS Marketplace. Okay, everybody knows Amazon.com, right? You buy stuff from the Amazon.com. The AWS Marketplace actually is a place that the ISV, we call it independent software vendors, we have a different marketplace to ISVs. They can list and sell their softwares and services on the marketplace. For example, we have different product types. We have armies. Those probably they don't mean anything to you, but we have different products, armies, containers, data exchange, and we have machine learning models. Now it's like so popular, right? AI, machine learning. They can sell their machine learning models. They can sell softwares and services, their machine learning models. They can sell their data. That is a marketplace for the ISVs. So they can list and they can make transactions with ease with the marketplace. And also we have customers, of course, right? Amazon.com, not just sellers, we have customers. The customers, they can come because just like Amazon.com, when you buy stuff from Amazon.com, you trust it because we have millions of customer reviews, right? Same thing for the marketplace. And the customers can come to buy and deploy the software because they trust our marketplace. We have reviews and we have a lot of guardrails to make sure the software listed on our market, they have high quality. And they can manage their third-party softwares. And best of all, they can consolidate all the billings. So for example, Oracle and our cloud AWS just have collaboration, right? So it's a huge announcement. So people who use Oracle and use our cloud, they can have one billing. The billing can incur so much overhead. So that's one thing our AWS Marketplace can offer the buyers and sellers one central location to list software and all those services and to buy it.
Gotcha.
So help us understand how you fit in. Are these your customers that you're working with and helping them get onboarded onto Marketplace? Or what is the connection point between your work and this?
Right, Jenna, you're the expert. You said right to the point. Because we have so many services, like maybe we can show later on the architecture for the 3-tier application. We have so many. We have CloudFront, RISE 53, we have EC2, we have all the security guardrails, all the services provided by AWS Marketplace. And how can we make the sellers on board with minimum effort, okay, and lowest cost compared to what their on-premise on-premise product. Mm-hmm. So, and with ease. So minimum effort and maximize their profit and revenue. And then the most of all, the best of all the integration is we expand the customer base. Think about how many customers can come to, you have one customer, you have one as of list on your own website, right? How many customers can you attract comparing to your list on our marketplace? So that's one thing. And we have wonderful PSA, like solution architect team, to work with their solution architect to bring the whole journey as easy as possible. So that's why we come in. There are so many options. Just like when you go to Amazon.com, right? You have so many products to purchase. Which one are you going to buy? How are you going to buy it, right? And what's the best way to list your product on the marketplace? You can have the best exposure. So that's when we come in. We want to make the journey as easy as possible for both sellers and buyers.
So this is a question that was in the chat. So is this marketplace like an Apple Store or Google Play Store for mobile phones, right? Is this kind of what we're doing, building that ecosystem of all the different services?
Yes, it's a wonderful ecosystem. Yes.
Gotcha. And another question that VJ had, again, from from your background itself, which was, can you please talk about the difference between a specialist versus generalist SA?
As a specialist SA, internally, I can probably tell this. We have different level of difficulty problems. Like, for example, how to list a SaaS product on the marketplace. So that will be like 100 and 200 level questions. But the specialist, we only answer about 300, 400 level questions that needs more technical background. Say maybe we need to write some code for the integration, for example, API integrations, right? We just released catalog API, agreement API. Okay, how can we enable the sellers to sell a product without going to, like, they want to list 100 products at one time, or they want to create 1,000 offers. They don't want to go to the console. We call it management console to list one by one, right? That's kind of time consuming. How can they use our API to list all 1,000 offers in 5 minutes? So that's
those considered 100, 200 questions?
No, that will be 400
questions.
That's okay. When we come in. We step in.
Okay. So what would be like a 100 or 200 level?
Will be like how to list my software on the market.
Okay.
Gotcha. And then you sent me a couple of, and you actually kind of mentioned this earlier, like about the 3-tier architecture. Walk us through this, and where does this come into play?
So this one actually is the second one. Okay. This is more, the first one is more of a 3-tier.
Back to the family in a second.
So this is one of the more of the 3-tier.
Family tree is next.
Yeah, thank you. So you can see that it's complicated, but if I step in and explain each step, each part, it won't be that bad. First of all, you come in, you use Amazon Route S3, Route 53, so you can apply for your own domain and use CloudFront and use S3 to get your data up and running. And then on the back end, you can use EC2 and you can use all those secure related tools. And for example, you want to make sure you have you don't want to have server stop because of too much scalability issue, right? Because some places like out of power, right? Sorry, it's like in the East Coast because of hurricane. So how can you make sure your application is up and running almost 100% time? So we deploy in different availability zones. We deploy in different regions depending on the budget. And also because sometimes your software has in high demand, for example, like Amazon.com, right? In the busy Fridays, in the popular like promotion stage, the customers, they have a lot of customers and your instances or your website might be swamped. So how can we make sure the availability is always up? So that's our solution architect role comes in. So we help the customers to build with the minimum budget, but maximum availability and reliability. So, and also they can scale as well. So depending on, say, my company is very small right now, right? But I don't know, maybe it will expand to like 10 times in 5 years. How can I just design my architecture right now? So that's the scalability comes in also as well.
Gotcha.
So I wonder if there's a difference, gosh, forgive me if this is a really naive question, but I understand that you would be considered then a partner solutions architect. Is that right? Are you a partner solutions architect or?
When we say we are a PSA, yes, a partners.
You are. Okay.
Yes. So it's like sellers, the whole marketplace.
Okay, so your customers are actually solution architects at other technical companies. How is that different than being a solutions architect for a customer like a bank or a startup where maybe they don't have solutions architect? It seems like that person would sort of own the solution architect function for the customer. In this case, having a solutions architect as your partner, how does that change the dynamics of the outcomes?
To be a solution architect in AWS, that is one challenge because we cannot guarantee every one of our customers or partners, they have a PSA, a partner solution architect on site. So the ideal ones will be they have a very senior PSA we can work with. So we don't have to work with their SDEs or managers directly.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that's not the case every time.
I see.
We do have to work with sometimes the HDEs even directly and their manager directly if they don't have a PSA on site. And we will step in. And also, of course, AWS has a great training program. We always recommend them to train to have their own PSA. But bigger companies, yes, they do. They may not even have one, they have more PSAs. But smaller ISVs, we cannot just assume every small ISVs, a medium small business, they have their own PSAs. That's when we step in.
I see.
We will be in the role of both AWS SA and the partner SA. We'll help them, we'll guide them through, we'll send them all documents. We have wonderful documentations. So we send them documentations, guide them through. When they really have technical questions, they can submit special request tickets and we'll step in to help them. Yes. Thank you, Jenna, for the question.
Just learning along this journey, Ming.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. Just like I'm learning too. I learned just so much from my teammates. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a wonderful world, by the way.
It's you and I were talking just before we started the show, and it was interesting. You start off as on the SysDE side, and then just came to SA. And I was mentioning I was in SA recruiting for a long time, now into SDE side and SysDE side. We made the transition around by only a couple months difference. You're in February, I was in April, right? So I was like, oh, we went the opposite ends. But then there's also another fun fact that your son actually works here as well, right?
Yes, I can't say too much about him. He's like wonderful young man. Mm-hmm. And by the way, he just got married last year with his high school sweetheart, Rachel. We all love her. She's so sweet. And they both work in New York, Manhattan, New York. And he's running for marathon next month in New York. If you happen to be there, that's gonna be a huge event. But don't take any Uber, only take subway because the whole Manhattan will be blocked. Okay.
Yes.
Hopefully
Ray and I are both in New York. We know.
Yes, because all my kids, they're athletes. My oldest one ran like probably 5, 6 Amazon marathons. Yes, the one next to me, I'm in the middle. The one to my right is my second son, Brian, and he works for Amazon.com, and he's the one who writes algorithm to make you spend more money. Okay, I'm just kidding. So he does the algorithm like to say what will be the best products that you may want to buy together with, and what will be the most reliable vendors you want to purchase a product. Like I want to buy a mouse, right? I want to buy a mouse. What will be the best one that fits my need? So he's the one who writes algorithm to guide you through the buying experience, and that's him.
Did he recommend you, or did you recommend him into Amazon? Who was here first?
I can say, Jenna, you are so good asking questions.
I'm nosy. I'm just nosy. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Brian, he became intern in his sophomore summer. So he skipped a year and a half in college because he transferred 45 credits to Georgia Tech. He graduated in 3 years, and he spent 1 more year in Georgia Tech to get his master's degrees. So he became an Amazon intern as a sophomore in college. So he has worked for Amazon for more than 2 years, 2.5 years. And I only work in 10 days, I'll be 2 years. So he's actually 2 years senior than me.
Oh.
And it's interesting. The reason why I came to AWS, Amazon, I didn't want to come. I didn't look for a job. I just had a new job, and I love to be an SDE anyway. And then Amazon recruiter came to find me. He said, "You want to try this role?" I said, wait, I don't think I can because I have never been a system DE. I have been an SDE for my 20 years. And recruiters said, just give it a try. It doesn't hurt, right? And the reason why I said yes was simply because Brian worked here in Amazon and he loves it. And he just told us how good Amazon is, and he enjoyed working with his teammates. And I said, you know what? I'm his mom, right? If I said no to this opportunity, it means I kind of deny what he said, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna give it a try.
Well, can we amplify that now? So if he was to ask you, hey, Mom, now what do you love about working at Amazon? What is your response?
Oh my goodness. I think he will close his eyes because I would just keep talking for hours. There's so much potential. That's why, you know what, when I started working with Amazon AWS, I became such a big advocate of AWS. I said, I can't say all young people, but young people, you really need to try to work for Amazon first because it opens up your eyes, your world. There are so many opportunities. And also one thing is, Amazon is such a place that, give you one example. When I have been an SDE for the past 20-something years, I barely voice my opinions, right? So as a SDE, the upper management is really hard to listen to your opinions. But when I went through the onboarding training, I realized in Amazon, even though you are a very junior SDE, SA, SDE, you can voice your opinion. You can write PRFAQ. As long as you have an idea, you can write your own PRFAQ. And I did that. I wrote my first PRFAQ like only 6 months after I was hired. And guess what? It was very well accepted by the upper management. Mm-hmm. So they just love it. And they put on the agenda, said, this is the project we're going to work on. That's why I told Brian, you know what? I'm not saying my age. Okay. I'm not that young. I'm not that, ambitious person anymore as I was younger, but as long as I have an idea, I can just write my own proposal and my own PRFAQ. And if it's really helping customers, and managers will not just say, oh, I'm not going to look at your proposal because you're so junior. They will. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I love about this culture.
So it sounds like it's really re-energized you.
Oh,
being
absolutely.
here.
I am. I'm the, you know, this one thing is about me is when I start to do something, when I make up my mind to do something, I always put all my passion to it. Just, I love it.
So I got a question from the chat. I want to get your advice. If someone like wants to start a career at AWS as solutions architect, what path should I follow? Like passing solutions architect and AWS educational courses. What are your thoughts, Ming? And then Jenna and I can also chime in on that.
Actually, it's interesting. One of my ex-coworkers just asked me this question.
Mhm.
I actually did send him a list of steps that he needs to do. I really like the AWS Educate, and also we have if you go to AWS Marketplace, or not Marketplace, the training site, you just Google AWS certificate solution architect training, and you can have a lot of training opportunities that's hosted and provided by AWS.
Mhm.
So start with the courses that offer hands-on. You have to have hands-on experience. Just passing the certificate, I cannot say it doesn't mean anything, but it will be more meaningful to go through the hands-on. So sign up. Number one, sign up a AWS account. We offer free tier, which is wonderful. 1 year free tier, you can use S3, you can use EC2. A lot of instances are free, and sign up for account and just play with it. If you don't want to sign up the whole certificate, say, hey, I only want to learn about S3, go to YouTube. YouTube really has tons of training materials about S3, EC2, but I still recommend to go through a complete solution architect course after you sign up for the account. Go through one course with hands-on labs. That is, I cannot emphasize more. Okay, and then when you do a hands-on lab, try to follow the lab like instructions first, and then just don't look at the lab. Just do all by yourself. So after that, after you have the account sign up, you go through the whole solution architect classes, and if you have time, you pass the certificate. But the most important thing is not a certificate; it's what you have learned from the learning journey. So after that, try to maybe go to the Google or go to our AWS Marketplace and look at some scenarios, use cases to see from this use case what you can do from what you have learned. So those are right now. There are tons of materials on the website, even by AWS training certificate. Ray just posted. Yeah, that will be a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
Solid advice.
Yeah, they actually they followed up saying that I'm a machine learning student. I'm really interested in AWS machine learning services. What are some core services I need to focus on and to get into AWS, etc. But I think to your point, Ming, it's you have to these certifications and these skill building programs are incredibly important. But the way Amazon also hires is we hire folks that already have experience doing this at the same time, right? So I tell people to, we have like the university team. If you're still in school right now, so if you actually, I'll try to find a link for our university program. So this is for like the early career folks that are still in school, etc. Take a look over there to see if there are any openings, number one, but you should build as much as you can. And this is why we have people like Ming here. This is why we have twitch.tv/AWS, which most people are streaming on right now, where you could actually follow other live shows and build directly on your keyboard at the same time with our other experts. Continue to build if you have no real work experience, right? At least demonstrate that, learn to be curious and get some kind of hands-on building experience. Then see what other opportunities open up for early career at
Absolutely.
that point. Okay.
Absolutely. And then, with our AWS certificate, just started a new certification. It's machine learning certification. So it's brand new. That's also pretty good. And our certification, actually, if you want to get the certificate, my opinion is you cannot avoid being hands-on.
Yeah, I agree. And
Yeah,
Isaiah, again, welcome. And yes, he goes, building on AWS's great Twitch show on with Darko. I couldn't agree more.
Shout out to Darko.
Yeah, Darko Masaris is one of our principal developer advocates. is actually the one that helped onboard most of us onto the Twitch platform itself. And that's someone you definitely want to watch as much as you can and learn from. So great shout out to him. And thanks for that reminder, Isaiah. So, um, so let's say you mentioned one other thing, and someone else also mentioned Party Rock. Yeah, Party Rock is another thing to play with. So partyrock.aws, great shout out. SA Tech guy, SA Tech guy, nice.
And right?
Yeah. So you also mentioned you're very passionate about teaching students, right?
Absolutely.
And I want to share my screen again here. Walk us through this. Tell us a little bit about this program that you're very passionate about. There we go.
Absolutely. And the one Ray is showing you is something we call a youth tech. And this is the workshop we guided through in UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Youth Tech is the program we AWS sponsored that we try to teach the college students how to use the AWS services in the easy way. So how to get started. Sometimes, we have a saying in China, the starting point is the hardest point. If you start, then you're almost like 50% along the journey. So people always say, okay, how can I even start to use the AWS services? There's so many, it's like hundreds of services. The youth tech, we're here to help you to get started. For example, the 2 workshops I led was how to build a static website with AWS S3. Amazon S3 is such a great service, but people heard about it. It's like it's a storage. No, you can do so many things with S3. So simple storage service. And the workshop I led was to teach the students how to build a static website for free with a free tier in 30 minutes. So just think about that. It's like, oh, it's free with my own domain, actually, because S3 offers a domain if you don't want to have your fixed name, but it does offer a domain. And in 30 minutes, you can have your own website up and running. And the second workshop I led was how to learn machine learning, get on machine learning journey with Amazon DeepRacer. And DeepRacer is, I'm telling you, just give you a quick introduction. DeepRacer is how to use machine learning to train a car. It's actually a racing car, and to run on the track on its own with the cameras on top. So the cameras will just keep watching, if it's make a mistake, and you will reduce point. If it goes on the route, it will give more points. So it's a word system. So use a word system, a word algorithm, machine learning algorithm to train this car to finish the track as soon as, as fast as possible with minimum points deducted. So I use this machine learning, DeepRacer, to teach students to program in Python. So we can make this car to finish the track as efficient as possible. So this lab is like an hour. They are all available on the AWS Educate for free. So you can get on to try on to see, oh, okay, what is really machine learning? It looks like so fancy. It's actually not. If you're a programmer, even you just learn a year of Python, you can start to use this DeepRacer training tool on the AWS Educate and to learn machine learning. See, we have like free tier, and you can try it on, and you're gonna be amazed.
I was just about to say that they're sharing that there's 10 hours free for 30 days within the AWS free tier. So take advantage. It's there. Use it, build it, and learn. So
the resources right now are just, I have to say, it's unlimited. It's just, the thing is, you need to know which one to use, and just make up your mind. Bias for action. That's one of the leadership principles. Bias for action. You see it, use it today. I guarantee you, if you have any programming background a little bit, you probably just turn off your phone, turn off everything, notifications, spend 1 hour, and you will know exactly what this DeepRacer machine learning is about. That's all it takes.
Something tells me bias for action may be your favorite leadership principle, or what is?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because you know what? I'm a person who loves perfection. when I start to do something, like even start, I want to make sure all the preparation, like I love to cook. I have to make sure all the ingredients are complete. I always bring everything on the kitchen table, make sure the kitchen, you know what, I have this thing. If the kitchen is not clean, I cannot cook. Okay. So I have to make sure my kitchen is spotless before I even start to cook. So
That sounds like insists on the highest standards.
No, but I have to prepare, make sure it's all prepared. I can't just start. So I like to do things, prepare, make sure it's perfect. 95% guarantee you will be successful. I'll do it. So that's why I don't like any competitive sport. I don't do any competitive sports, okay? Because I don't like to, I'm not sure if I'm gonna win or not. So that is my, what do you call that? Like the not very good personalities. But that actually prevented me from accomplishing a lot of things. For example, I shared with Ray earlier, writing is actually one of my big obstacle. I have to make the idea like complete. See what I mean? You need to have a like detailed picture before you start to write the first word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then when I come to Amazon, I was told you need to write this blog like it's due in 2 weeks. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just write it. Because Amazon we have great review system. We have editorial review, we have bar review review, technical review, we have the last stage of a coworker peer review. So you know what? I'm going to just do it. So actually, that's what the first PR FAQ came along. If it was my old personality, I wouldn't even do it before the idea was like really complete, very mature. And then for the first PR FAQ, my manager said, if you have this idea, just write it. It doesn't matter. I'll review it for you. And guess what? There was like 10 people coming to review my PR FAQ. Even like pretty senior managers and senior developers and solution architects, they came to review my PR FAQs. And then I realized, okay, in Amazon, if you have an idea, as long as it's a two-way door, of course, make sure it's a two-way door. It's always safe, right? It's a two-way door. Just go ahead and do it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So it sounds like the promotion of bias for action helped you break your need to be perfect and gave you the comfort level that you can just go do things and you can fix it along the way.
Absolutely.
Versus like cutting up. So now are you at home also not preparing all your ingredients, and are you chopping up the onions or chopping up the garlic while the onions are cooking? Are we doing things at the same time now, or are you has this taken a hold of you personally too?
No, I keep that habit the same.
Oh no.
Okay. I told my mom that too. Okay. I told my mom that too. You know, if you want me to cook, you have to make sure the kitchen is spotless. Okay.
It's interesting. You bring up the writing as we talked about, right? And here I am, like my manager's waiting 2 months for me to send him the doc. I had sent the one version a while back, and they're like feedback on it, etc. And then the type of questions that were asked to edit and everything else. Now with all the changes and the exciting new things that may be coming about because of what's happening in the show, I can't say anything yet. But then it made me like, I got to rewrite this again, and everything else. And then my imposter syndrome kicks in. And then next thing I know, I'm procrastinating on it. And then Jenna's pinging me, can I read the doc? Like, for a second, I'm like, yes, you will. But I didn't finish it, the final last pieces, right? It's like, again, because my imposter syndrome's like, it needs to now be perfect, because every time I send to 5 people, 5 different opinions that then screw up with my mind, and then I'm like, now I got to make them happy and answer this question. So therefore it's not complete again. And I screw up myself, and I need to like say, nope, this is it. This is what it's not. And just take it and just push it and go there. So again, the bias for action, I normally have bias for action. I'm great at that. But when it comes to my writing, oh my God, I doubt myself too much at times.
Yeah. And AWS is a huge on writing. And I have actually so far, believe it or not, I have published 1 blog, and I'm working on 2 blogs, like almost going to be published. And I wrote so many like PRFQs, like internal documents. So I'm writing a lot of stuff right now, even just normal documentation to help my peers, my teammates from my background. So it's very useful. Yeah, that's one thing I learned a lot, the bias for action for writing, and also project as well. So when I have a good idea of project, just go ahead and do it, because it doesn't hurt. Even though it doesn't work, just focus on the hackathon. That's one bias for action, one of the examples. If it was me, old me, I wouldn't do it because I didn't know anything about Code Guru. And GitHub, of course, I've been using it for a while, but Code Guru was so new. I wouldn't do something that was so new. But with my two teammates coming to help me, and we three work together, we even won the operational excellence award for the hackathon.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
You are a star, Ming. Wow.
Oh, thank you, Jenna. I'm just part of the team. You know, our team, my teammates they provide me tremendous help.
Yeah.
And then actually, one thing. Speaking of that, I do want to actually mention two people. This girl is called Lillian, and she's not my teammate, and she's not even on my team, and she's not even based in US. She's based in Australia. The reason why I mentioned her was when I was preparing for AWSome Builder, right? Because I was so new for Solution Architect, and all my peers, they are so busy. Like Solution Architect, AWSome Builder 1 is like basic questions. I don't want to follow them with the basic question. So I start to look at we have great AWSome Builder resources to help the new Solution Architect. And I found this girl's name, Lillian Fan, and her AB1, AB2, and 3, the examples, the talk were on the broadcast list. So I messaged her. I said, can you help me a little bit? And how can I get started, right? Do you have the deck that you use I can learn from? And she went all the way to help me. And she sent me her recordings, the decks, the tools she used. When I have questions, I couldn't make it work, she just sent me all the resources and even helped me. So she guided me through, a very young girl, very young solution architect, guided me through all AWSome Builder 1, 2, and 3. So see, she's someone out there in Australia, completely different group, and she helped me. So that's one thing. I have my teammates. There's like no doubt they are on the wrong. But this girl has nothing to do with me, to be honest, right? She went all the way to help me.
Well, I'm not surprised. There's zero surprise from my end because that's what people know here. But I love that you said that, because the external folks that are watching this, they don't know what it's like here. We're not over embellishing anything when we say
this is
everyone
real.
goes above and beyond to help you. From day one. So they want you to excel. And if it's something that's very simple, like self-serve, they'll send you a resource. When it comes to something like that, you starting a brand new journey, and they see that you went to them, you actually did the research and found them through that way itself. They're like, I want to help this person. And
I think it's part of our ownership culture. We're all in it to win it. So if one person invests in another person, then that's gonna do good work, and you vector that out, you could potentially move the needle with the stock, right? So it is because of our ownership culture that one person's success is the success of many.
Absolutely. I mean, when we talk to candidates, and you mentioned about stock price and everything else, I said the only way stock price goes up is if we continue to innovate for our customers, right? And the way we innovate is by everyone working together. There's a reason why you're here, and there's a reason why they're there. And if you could identify each other's superpowers and then collaborate in the time of need, you're going to build something incredible, right? And that's where it comes from, right? You have diverse set of backgrounds, from diverse set of thoughts to backgrounds in general, ethnic background, different types of, disabilities, if anything, right? So again, we foster an inclusive environment so every voice matters, so you can build something incredible together and continue to deliver for the customers, changing the world, and literally, and then, if you care about your stock price, that's how that happens.
Absolutely.
If I'm being direct, so that's really it.
Yeah.
I love what Isaiah said. Ming, your energy is awesome. What are you striving for next at AWS?
I'm very new still, so I think my journey is is a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I have learned and I have done to help the customers and sellers and buyers and partners, I'm so excited that the more people I help, the happier I will be. That's just what I want to do, and I want to learn. And one thing actually I told my teammates when I just got on board, I said, one day I wish I'll be like you guys. You are so good. When I was in the like we have office hours for customers, and when they ask questions, my teammates can answer just like split a second. Just from their brain, from their mind, they remember everything. So I said to them, I really wish one day I could just be like you. And I can help the partners and customers as much as I can. I just love to help. That's why maybe you just mentioned that I love to teach. I love to teach. I love to transfer my knowledge to other people. So to make their journey easier. So if I want to switch career, for example, maybe I'll become a teacher. So, and that's one thing. I love to write blogs. I love to write tutorials. I love to do workshops. So that's something I can help other people to learn faster, to avoid the mistakes I have encountered by spending a little bit more of my time. So that is my passion.
Gotcha. And before we can, first off, thank you for sharing that, and I love that passion. But I also want to do this before we wrap up. I do want to quickly remind folks. I already put a link in the chat for a 1-minute survey. Simply ask you a couple of quick questions and an open-ended field for you to fill in. Would love to hear more, about what you think about this episode and whatnot. Because it helps us continue to build the content and whatnot. The other thing is, if you are following us on twitch.tv/AWS, make sure you hit that follow button to see more shows. Again, for those that are trying to build and whatnot, and also follow the YouTube careers channel, the youtube.com/@AWS careers. It provides a lot of great content around the day in the life of X type of professional. Again, for those of you that may be interested in solutions architect, right, Yogesh, this would be great for you to take a look at what the day in the life looks like. For those of you interested in affinity groups, same thing. And I also think we have a little bit of a miscommunication in chat. So let me quickly address that. So I know. So name is Yogesh. I said I couldn't agree more, meaning I agree with you. So you wrote that unity is strength, and I reply with I couldn't agree more. So meaning I'm agreeing with you as much as possible that unity is strength. Okay. So you didn't say anything wrong. So sorry about any miscommunication there. And love that feedback. So yeah, I mean, Ming, you also going back to something personal. It's funny. You and I talked, and you mentioned you watched the other episode, and you said you're an expert at making mooncakes yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I watched the whole conversation you and Jenna with Yamini last episode. Yamini mentioned she is in the Infinity Group and they were making mooncake and she loves mooncake. Oh my goodness, that just gets to my point. I am a mooncake maker expert. Okay, and the mooncake I made, you cannot buy anywhere else because the mooncake you can purchase here. Even Costco has mooncake right now. Okay, but they're all sweets. Okay. They're sweet inside, the filling sweet. The outside wrapper is soft. The mooncake I made was the originals from Shanghai. Shanghai in China? Yeah.
Sure.
It's called Shanghai fresh pork meat mooncake. So the outside is crispy, like croissant, but it's different. Okay. The outside is crispy. When you bite it, you can see the crumbs dropping. Okay. Inside is ground pork, green onion, and all those wonderful ingredients and eggs and everything. So we bake it. So we call it Shanghai pork meat mooncake, and you can only purchase fresh in Shanghai. That's why when it's like you eat mooncake, we eat mooncake during Mid-Autumn Festival. We call it when the moon. We use a Chinese lunar calendar. When the moon is really round, August 15th, a lunar calendar. date, and we eat mooncake. So during the Mid-Autumn Festival, the shops in Shanghai always had huge lines because you can't purchase the overnight one. You have to purchase fresh one. That's mooncake I made. So if you ever come to Tucson, be my guest.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You made my mouth water a bit,
know,
because
right?
it reminded me of my wife makes something similar, and it's and actually had like a very top-rated chef actually eat it on one of our trips. She made it fresh. Again, the outside it's actually crispy and it flakes, right? And then right in the inside, she has ground veal and lamb together with cumin and diced onions and everything. So it's like super savory, and he actually loved it, and he wanted to get
Empanada? More of like empanada.
it almost looks like it, but it's not an empanada because of the type of wrapper that we use. We actually use more like phyllo paper, and layers of that. So yeah, but again, we bake it.
I have to make my wrapper myself.
Yeah,
from flour and water and oil.
Yeah, so with us, if we find something that's as close and it saves us time, we're gonna do that.
I'm already Googling pictures and recipes. I mean, this looks amazing.
It's funny, you know what, speaking of that, oh my goodness. I have 4 kids, right? My second son, the one who works at Amazon, he loves to cook. But my first and third, they never cook. But it's so funny because they left home already, right? And they're on their own and they miss mom's food. So they keep texting me asking for like, what is your fried rice recipe? What is your Japanese beef recipe? What is your soup recipe? So they keep, what is your Japanese salmon recipe? So they just keep asking me for recipes. So actually, you know what? I'm a little overkill. I have a Google Drive with all my recipes and categorized by like Chinese dessert, American dessert, different type of meat, chicken, beef, lamb, pork. So I have a whole Google Drive with all the recipes. Just let you know.
It's fantastic.
Wow, impressive.
So VJ 1900 actually shared a link. It says the walks of life, savory hyphen mooncakes. We'll check that out.
Awesome.
So thank you for sharing that. And Isaiah, yeah, the Costco. I go to Costco every weekend. I hate the fact that it's literally 3 blocks away from my house, and every time it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So, and I know a lot of people can relate. So there you go. Ken Walsh +1. I asked who can relate. There you go. Ken is a +1. Isaiah is like yes. So yeah. We all can relate to that.
Yeah, I know. One thing I want to mention, after I've been mentioning here, is I found something that's really unique. Is because I drink lemon water in the morning. I have to squeeze lemon because I don't have much strength on my hands. It's really hard. And Costco, in our Costco at least, they sell this freshly squeezed lemon, like only lemon, nothing added, in the glass bottle, shipped from Italy.
Oh,
like less than $9. Huge bottle, glass bottle, and for less than it's like 80. It says 80 lemon squeezed juice.
Wow. A lot of work that they did for you, right? So, like I said, I'll pay for convenience. So if it's close to what I really love, someone else made it. It's fantastic. Yeah. So before I wrap the show, I want to ask you something, Ming. We have like Forte season coming up, and for those that don't know Forte, it's it's kind of the end of year review where you ask it's peer review from not just your immediate colleagues, but also the customers, internal customers that you may support, and anyone else. And I want to ask you, what are you hoping people say about you? What would you hope people think is your superpower?
I will say the best. Well, I hope people will say that I go all the way. When someone asks for help, I go all the way. Just like Lillian, when asked a question, she went all the way. So even though I have something urgent to do, if I start to help somebody, I go all the way. Just as long as I know what to do, as long as I have the resources, I go all the way. I'm not saying, oh, I don't have time. Sorry, can you wait? No, my coworker asked me questions. I hope they have the feeling that I always go all the way. I want to go all the way, even though right now my expertise is still limited. So that's why I want to learn as much as possible. So one day when my coworkers, my teammates ask me questions, I will be able to go all the way. So that is my goal.
It's
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
Love that. Love
Thank
that.
you.
Jenna, what about you? What would you hope people say about you?
That I'm kind and I I don't tell people what to do, but maybe I help problem solve some ideas, maybe not necessarily solutions, but some ideas that may help to plant seeds of generating more novel ideas.
Fantastic. Love
And
that.
you? And you, Ray?
It's kind of what Ming said. I hope people see me as someone that they can rely on for anything, right? To come in and help them as best as I genuinely can, and go above and beyond, to deliver on that. I think about that often. I think most people here think about that often. We think about the feedback in general, and we take the feedback given to us to heart, because we want to do what's best for everyone we interact with, from our candidates to the hiring managers to our peers. Someone like you, Ming, right? Again, this whole show is about the humans here, right? It's to show that we're not robots. We're people that actually care about everything we do inside and outside of work, and that's it. We're people that naturally go above and beyond. That's the pattern of people here. Everyone goes
And
above and beyond.
And I think to add to that, this is like these are great questions about being vocally self-critical. So to your question, it's not what I hope people see about me or think about me or say about me and my superpowers. I actually want to know where there's opportunities that I can do better so I can figure out what my growth opportunities are. And I only share what I hope people are going to think is that based off of my own self-reflection of growth opportunities. I have a tendency to solution and, just find the way to solve the problem, but I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing. I think helping people come to the solution themselves is a better investment in peers, my peers,
Awesome.
and
Thank
myself.
you. I'm going to quickly share three things online, because then we got to quickly sign out. But again, VJ19, Jenna, Ray, you guys are
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. Ken, +1 to Ming Superpower. There you go. And Isaiah, love you, man. The show makes me happy. That's my annual review for Ray and Jenna. That's what we want. We want people to be happy and whatnot. So, Ming, you're incredible. Love your energy. We gotta get you and your
Yes.
son. Get your son certified. Get it. Get
Yes.
it to get it
Mommy
done, and we'll have
daughter,
you both
mommy
on
son
the show.
session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Awesome.
right. All
Awesome.
right. Thank you all again, Jenna. Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
and everyone in
Yeah.
Florida, again, stay safe. Get out of there if you need to. All right.
Take care.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.